Over time, most politicians in most places decide it's a lot easier to devalue the currency. You keep the tax rate pretty much the same, you just print more money. At first, most people don't even notice that it's happening. The money seems free. This is how the US government just paid for the COVID checks and the war in Ukraine and pretty much everything else that Washington has done for the past couple of decades. Just churn out more dollars. You can see why it's a popular strategy. But what happens if you keep doing it year after year? We really ought to know. So to find out, we flew to Argentina, a country of 45 million people on the Atlantic coast of South America. 100 years ago, Argentina was one of the richest places in the world. It had everything: abundant natural resources, vast open spaces, a well-educated, capable European population. Its capital, Buenos Aires, once looked like Paris, but probably richer. You can still see remnants of that time as you walk around the city today, but the buildings are ratty now and marred by graffiti. Argentina is no longer a rich country. It's one of the poorest nations in the Western Hemisphere. Nearly half the population here lives below the poverty line. Chicken for dinner is a luxury. The people are still impressive, the natural resources still exist, but Argentina's leaders have destroyed the country by devaluing its national currency. Argentina now has Weimar-like hyperinflation. It takes a brick of bills to buy lunch. Roads and bridges fall apart and nobody can afford to fix them. Things unravel.
We spend more money as a country than we earn money.
This man is called Hernan. He's been trying to run a restaurant in one of the richest neighborhoods in Buenos Aires.
It's really, really hard to work in Argentina, to live in Argentina. We are tired. I think that's one of the main feelings of the people. No? People are tired of all of the politicians saying the same things a couple of years and nobody does nothing good.
Over the course of the average month, the Argentine peso loses 10% of its value. In other words, everybody gets 10% poorer every month of the year. It doesn't take long for people to go hungry.
Our institutions have something wrong.
Diana Maldino is an economist and a candidate for the Argentine Congress.
Basically, the problem we have right now, we are 47 million people, out of which only 11 million people have what you would call a job. Slightly under 3.5 million people work for government, and 7 million people work in the private sector. So 10 million people, 11 million people out of 47, 25% of the people.
And that's counting the government workers. So if you take out the government workers, and that really is an electric window.
Yeah, 1/7 of the country would have a private job.
So that means 7 million people are working to support the other 40 million people.
And let me add something. 60% of the children are poor. So if you ask me, if 60% of the children are poor, the whole country is poor.
Argentina's currency is so inflated and worthless, it can no longer be used to buy anything of value. Cars, houses, even bicycles are priced in US dollars. The problem is the government lies about this. Banks are not allowed to exchange dollars, and